Hello everyone, I am Erika of Beadingschool.com and you are watching Coffee Time with Erika, my weekly BD broadcast. This week we are going to learn a bit more about Czech glass bead making and in the meanwhile focus on a shape that has appeared only a few years back and in my opinion hasn't gotten enough attention yet in the beading world. And I am talking about the extra low glass cabochon, the brainchild of tryToBead, Sabine Lippert. But before we would go there, I would like to greet everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. And please let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. I see Belinda, I see Rachel. And Rachel says, hello to the loveliest ladies I know. I hope you are all healthy and happy today. Indeed, and thank you for your kindness and this lovely comment, Rachel. Joanna, Carrie, Asta, Zuzka, Linda, Erika. I'm really good today. Thank you so much for asking, Rachel. Jessica, Catherine, please let me know, ladies, if you can also hear me and see me on Facebook. I see comments coming in from YouTube, but I would like to make sure that all is good also on the Facebook page. Normally, you can see the live video from the Beading School Facebook page and from YouTube too. But sometimes there is a glitch, so I would like to know if everything is working well. So is someone watching from Facebook or only YouTube? I see also Miriam, Gapamu, Kimberly. Kimberly just picked up her new Chaton Montes from FedEx. That's so nice. Rebecca. Yeah, Becky! After a long break. Clarissa. Lovelies, are you watching from Facebook too or only from YouTube? Irene, Robin, Linda, Catherine, Sherry. Midi says, my first visit with you. So nice. And Miriam says that it might not be available on Facebook. Let me see. Just a moment. Ginny, Elena. Indeed. For some reason, it's not on Facebook. So let me quickly post a link for our dear beaders who are watching from Facebook. So even if the comments will not be visible to me from Facebook, but at least the live video has a link to YouTube, so you will be able to access it. So yeah, what's going to happen today? So there are several important things. We had a little contest last week. We had Preciosa Crystal Weeks over the last 2 weeks here at Beading School. At first, we deepened our knowledge about the shapes that we were already familiar with, and then we focused on a new addition to the Beading School bead shop, the 4mm Chaton Montes. And through these 2 weeks, when we were talking about Preciosa, we also had a little contest for you. And we asked you that please write about your experience with Preciosa, and we wanted to select 2 winners who will get a very special gift package from Preciosa, the one that you see next to me. So it's something really, really, really valuable for sure. This is usually not available. This is not something that you can buy. And what I love the most from it is a little booklet with the story of the Bohemian crystal. So with Susie, we selected, let's say, like a talent winner with a testimonial that really spoke to us the most. And just as with the mini challenges, we will also select now together a lucky winner. So 2 winners, and 1 winner is the first winner selected by us is Natasha Wiegelman. So thank you so much, everyone who contributed with your words and celebrated Preciosa and helps us to raise awareness about Preciosa crystals together. And a special thanks to Natasha Wiegerman, who is, let's say, our talent winner of this little challenge. And I would like to read Natasha's words. She says, Preciosa was actually how I discovered the beading school. The other company just announced their decision to withdraw from the do-it-yourself market, and I started looking into Preciosa. Although I used it in the past, the colors carried by the local bead stores were not that impressive. And then I saw a Facebook post from Erika with a photo of 2 times AB beacons from Preciosa that got my attention. I ordered the rainbow box and fell in love with its contents. Shortly after, Erika announced the Beadingschool Academy subscription, and the rest is history. At this point, my stash is almost half Preciosa, half leftovers, and I think the quality of Preciosa crystals is very comparable. Moreover, the other company never made matte crystals colors, and I think they are absolutely gorgeous. Great job, Preciosa. So I really this really spoke to us. So Natasha is our first winner, and let's select another winner now together. So lovelies, please tell me a number between 1 and 34. We had 34 participants in this little contest, and I will find the average number between the first 3 numbers that you tell me, and that beader will be the winner. The names are not in alphabetical order, so even if your name is beginning with A, then you have the same chance than everyone else, because you will not be number 1 or number 2, but maybe in the middle of the list. So it's really like a random picking, but I love it that our beaders are participating this way. And I already have the first 3 numbers, which is 17 plus 7 plus 2. Altogether it's 26, and the average is 8.66, so let's say 9. And the 9th beader is on my list Patricia X. So we will be in touch with Patricia and Natasha later about your winnings, and then with your next package you will also receive this beautiful gift bag. I would also, before we would move on to today's topics, I would like to bring something to your attention. When we were visiting the Preciosa Crystal Factory, then it was not simply a visit. We could talk to people who really are the movers and shakers of the bead and crystal industry in the Crystal Valley, including we had the opportunity to meet the biggest boss, the CEO of Preciosa Crystals. We spent some time talking, and it was really nice. And also I got the opportunity to interview the marketing director of Preciosa Crystals, Eva. And there is a little 15 minutes of talking about Preciosa crystals. We have the recording on YouTube. I just posted the link for you. So please make sure to check it out. It's a good one, and I'm so proud of it, and so happy that I could pick the brain of Eva and ask my questions. But now let's move on to the next topic. Just a moment, I'm arranging my screens here. And Lita already saw the video and she says that it was amazing. And Ariana is here too, and Christy and Terry and Carol and many other beaders. So this week there will be multiple tutorial releases, by the way, at Beading School, so keep an eye out for Celeste and the Pegasus and Circino. Some of you were asking for them, and some of these tutorials you could actually get as gifts together with either with your bead orders, or in case that you sent us your finished Optimus pendant. So thank you so much for everyone who joined in this little contest, and we will be in touch with you through emails about your gifts, and we will release lots of tutorials this week. But back to today's topic. First, I will tell you a bit more about Czech glass bead making in general, and then I would like to talk about the extra low cabochons and how you can utilize them in your beadwork, as in my opinion, they haven't gotten enough attention yet in the beading world, and they do deserve it. So recently we visited the Crystal Valley in the Czech Republic, where most of our shiny treasures are made. There is so much to learn and so much that I want to show and share with you. I will keep shedding layers of this behind the scenes knowledge from the bead factories for a long, long time. So today there is another layer of all this beady education that I would like to share with you, and please make sure to follow the Beading School YouTube channel and the Beading School Facebook page to make sure that you will learn everything that I would like to share with you. So today, to shed another layer from this beady knowledge that we collected in Jablonec, I would like to tell you first about the material itself used for our beads. Wood, water, and sand are the main resources needed for glass making. You could find incredibly high quality glass sand with minimum imperfections, wood to fire up the kilns, which are nowadays heated by gas or electricity, by the way, and plenty of water in the Crystal Valley. And that is basically the reason why the Crystal Valley is the area where the industry started to develop more than 500 years ago. However, out of the three, while water is still present in the bead making factories, and you might even see wood sometimes, but out of these three main ingredients, remember, wood, water, and sand, you won't see any sand if you visit a bead making factory. Because melting glass from the raw glass sand happens elsewhere. And glass rods, which I will show in a little bit, are the raw material that the bead making factories work with. So they order the glass rods that are going to be melted into beads, and that's what they are working with. The raw materials for glass rods are sand, baking soda, potassium carbonate, and limestone. These are ground and mixed together. Different colors require different extra ingredients to add the pigments, the color to the glass. This can be, for example, manganese for purple, copper for blue, sulfur and graphite for brown and yellow, for example. And an interesting fact, some colors, like pink and fuchsia, contain particles of real gold, and that's why they are so much more expensive. Each color, and these are the glass rods that I was talking about. Each color has a different recipe. Each shade has a different recipe, and in some cases, a different recipe for each size of beads that is being produced. Preciosa crystals, for example, develops a different recipe for each shape, so the shade is the same over the whole range of sizes. However, with other glass beads, it happens that even if you say the same code, the color itself differs from size to size because they have only one recipe per color and not 8 recipes, for example, depending on the size that they want to produce. So this is important to remember, in my opinion. And once again, I would like to repeat, as I think it's very important to learn and to show respect towards the glassmaking industry. So I would like to repeat that even if these recipes exist and the factories do their best to keep colors consistent, sometimes it's simply not possible. Still, two hands and real humans and even the nature in the crystal valley are involved in bead making. Humidity and temperature can cause slight changes, and that's why the same recipe produces a slightly different effect on a hot, humid day and in the middle of an ice-cold winter. And a fun fact that while walking around in one of the warehouses in Jablonec, we discovered that some beads are marked with a text, Beadingschool color. The reason is that our partners wanted to keep the colors that they send to us as consistent for you as possible. So until they have a specific shade in stock, they will keep sending us the same, because whoever packs the beads that we order will know that if there are next to us two shades for the same color code, they will know which one to reach for, because that is what beading school beaders have. And as we walked around, we haven't seen any other company mentioned there on the shelves in this way. So this is really special treatment that we appreciate very much, and what is the result of the care and work of Andrea and the purchasing team at Beading School. But back to the glass rods now. The rods produced from the glass sand are approximately 1 meter long and 2 to 2.5 centimeters wide. They weigh about 2 kilograms. The glass rods themselves are made at a very high temperature of 1,300, 1,500 degrees of Celsius. This is where the raw material melts. And once they are melted together, they are cooling down for 20-30 hours. And this gradual, slow cooling down is very, very important, because otherwise, if they cooled down the glass, for example, by splashing cold water on it, then it would produce cracks inside the glass and, of course, later in our beads. And Something that was very interesting for me is that some glass rods are still made manually, even if there are machines capable of producing something similar. However, manually made glass rods are perfectly smooth, and it is possible to make layered colors that some of you like so much. With the machine-made glass rods, this is not achievable. So already when we were looking at glass rods, it was very much visible on first sight if the glass rods were made by someone manually or by a machine, because when the machine made it, then it was not smooth and always only in one color. And for today, this was the new layer about glass bead making that I wanted to share with you, to share all the knowledge that we brought back. And now I would like to focus on extra low glass cabochons that were included in the newest Beadingschool Academy Theme Box, and I think they deserve more attention. You were also like many times you also many times asked for them. And Lita has a question. So glass beads are all handmade. There are different kinds of, I will finish this, I will answer Lita, and then I will go back to the extra lows. So indeed, like handiwork is very much a lot more still involved in bead making than we would think. From the raw material until melting down the glass rods into the beads, until like polishing them and going through all the steps, there is always someone who is taking care of it manually. There are machines that are more automatized. There are machines that are still like older and need more input from an actual person. But in general, this is not the clean laboratory without a soul that you might get from other countries. This is really like full of heart and soul, this industry. But now let's focus on extra low glass cabochons. They are the brainchild of Sabine Lippert, tryToBead, and they appeared in the summer of 2022. Fun fact, Beading School was actually the first one to carry them, and we are super proud of it still. Sabine Lippert's dream was to have cabochons that are easy to bezel, just as a Rivoli, preferably with the same bead counts when it comes to peyote, for example. However, she wanted to have these cabochons in the same colors as pressed beads, instead of crystal glass that Rivolis are produced. So, by coincidence, she approached one of her favorite and most important partners with this idea, Heineck from All Beats company. You might know him from 2 live Coffee Time with Erika broadcasts. A few years back, he shared his insight about Czech bead making and showed part of his collection of old bead making tools. And this year in May, we were talking with Heineck about Japanese Miyuki beads, as besides many of our Czech glass beads, he's also one of our main trusted distributors of seed beads. So hands up, ladies. Have you seen the Coffee Time with Erika's when I was talking to Heineck? Do you remember those? And Kathy had a really nice comparison still to the bead making recipes. She says, and so good to see you, by the way, Kathy. She says, give a recipe for a cake to 2 different people, and you can also have 2 different cakes. Indeed. And thank you so much for the compliment. And Terry says that she indeed remembers the interviews, and Lita also found them lovely. Jessica also, and Katja, Gunel, Miriam, Sherry, Ginny. Kathy saw the first one. And Ariana saw the one from this year. And hi, Corinne also. So it's also Hynek's. We should also thank Hynek together with Sabine for bringing us the extra low glass cabochons. So when I first saw the extra low glass cabochons, then I knew immediately that I want to decorate them on the top. I like the shape. You don't have to add lots of rows to the bezel, as the cabochon itself is just as thin as a Rivoli. So in this case, I decided, you see the jewel compass on the picture, I decided to decorate it further with some wax solo beads, with a rhinestone in the middle, some tryToBead, and I created a square stitch bezel from Miyuki seed beads around the cabochon itself. But I also wanted to talk a bit more about extra lows, and actually to show you the jewel compass design, because the extra low glass cabochons are included in the newest Beadingschool Academy Theme Box in two sizes, the 14 and the 18 millimeter one too. And if you look closer, then you might discover that it is actually possible to create the jewel compass design from the current Beadingschool Academy Theme Box. All you need to do is to swap the Preciosa Suwon rhinestone for a 4 millimeter Preciosa Chaton Monte. You might need to add an extra size 15 seed bead, because the setting is a little bit different and the rhinestone itself will sit taller, but you don't need to make many modifications to make it happen. So just to your attention. But what else can you do with the new extra low glass cabochons? So I will show you different ideas today. And this is the Prague ring. It is made with a gemstone, but it's easy to imagine that you could swap the gemstone, the round flat gemstone, for an extra low glass cabochon. So in this case, I used the cabochon as a foundation to attach a little piece of beadwork to it, just simply with glue. I beaded this ring, and actually I beaded the same motif in many, many variations, as pendants, as earrings, as brooches a few years ago, actually 9 years ago, when I moved away from Prague, and I gifted one to all of my dear friends. So this is super easy and fast to make, and you can use the extra low glass cabochons in this way too. And Terry says, I loved this design so much and made 3, and also used this method on my flowers in the hairpiece sign. I'm really happy, Terry, that you could utilize this idea. But this is not all. You can also use the extra low glass cabochons in your bead embroidery projects. Since they have a flat back, the Rivolis that they were inspired by, they are pointy also from the backside, so they are not so easy sometimes to use in bead embroidery. But the extra lows, they are flat. So what you can do is that you can glue them down to your foundation, and then use the traveler method, how we are securing the coins in the middle, and you can do the same in your bead embroidery. And in this case, what I am showing now, there is a coin in the middle, and I ended up using peyote stitch in my bead embroidery, but you can also peyote bezel the extra low glass cabochons on their own. Exactly the same bead counts are okay as when you are using glass rivolis for your peyote bezels. So the how to cover the back of all your peyote bezels ebook comes very handy, and then you can decorate them further and actually use them pretty much for the same designs. So that's already two more ideas. And then let's see what else. And I bring back here the jewel compass motif, and there is a reason. Do you see what is the stitch that I used for the edge of the extra low glass cabochon? How did I bezel it? Can you spot it? Or do you remember if it do you remember it if you maybe made it in the past? And hi, Kristen. And Terry says square stitch. And indeed, I bezeled. Ariana also says square stitch. Niperi also says square stitch. So indeed, you can bezel the extra low glass cabochons also with square stitch. However, there was a modification, because normally I like to put size 15 seed beads on the back and on the front of my square stitch bezels. However, in this case, I put the size 15s only on the back, and then I closed the bezel with the wax solos and some other beads. So you can really, really play around with it. There are lots of possibilities. So this is actually, I think, a good challenge for you ladies if you would like to explore where are the limits and where your beading fantasy takes you. Create like kind of a nearly full square stitch bezel for your extra low glass cabochon. Bead the delicate part, bead the back, and then try to close the bezel on the front with something else. So instead of wax solos, maybe you want to add 4 pieces or 6 pieces of gem duos, or maybe just a 6mm Preciosa Suwon rhinestone and connected with the seed beads to the edge. Or do you have any other ideas? I'm sure you do, because the creativity of this group is always like mind-blowing. So just give, can you, if you have some ideas, can you type them in, please, and share with each other? And Patricia is here too. And then I will have 2 more ideas to share with you. And Linda says that in her opinion, storm duos would look beautiful. And Miriam says indeed the same with stormies. And I think storm duos are just so nice to work with and so elegant, yet they create motion and dynamics in a piece. So that is definitely a nice idea to explore. Do we have some other ideas out there? What do you think, ladies? Terry would like to put something metallic on top. And Katy says maybe something like the tiny star that Rooks used in her comet earrings. That is such a good idea. Katy, so good to have you here today. Anna would create something from seed beads. Miriam would use kite beads also. Oh, Lita, your amazing ideas. Tiny 2.8mm shot-on montes to square off the corners. Vibe duos. If your screen froze, try to refresh it, please. Is it frozen for everyone or only for Rita? I hope that it's just a temporary glitch. So there are indeed lots and lots of possibilities. I have some more ideas for you. So you can actually set your extra low glass cabochons into metal claw settings. So these are the same as we use for our rivolis and cushion cuts and so on. So you need to have 14 and 18 millimeter round claw settings for your 14 and 18 millimeter extra low cabochons. And once you put in the extra lows, they will not sink in, but they will just nicely sit on the rim of the claw, so you can play with them in the same way as you do with your rivolis, and you can also substitute your rivolis in tutorials requiring claws for the extra low glass cabochons if you want to achieve a different result. And I would like to go back one of the ideas still about decorating the top somehow, because this is such a cool one. Anna says use a very small filigree. Corinne says a bezeled 7 millimeter flat back. And Ariana says, I found my first try, peyote bezel with suvan simply with 15s on the top, but I made accidentally 2 different orientations. Happens, unfortunately. And then, besides exploring the possibilities given by the metal claws, you can also, of course, use some other shaped beads too. So this is Zuzi's Celeste, and we are going to release this tutorial tomorrow. Zuzi actually made a bezel for the small and the big version of the extra low glass cabochon, and she uses seed beads and geckos and wax solo beads. And here, let's close the circle of learning today, because we got back to the check glass beads, shaped beads again, because the wax solos and the geckos, of course, they are also produced in the crystal volley. So we already learned a lot about them today. And Miriam likes Celestine Fuchsia very much, and I couldn't agree more. When I saw this, it blew my mind. And this week is not only dedicated to check glass beads during coffee time with Erika, but also it's worth it to look around in the Beading School bead shop. And on Thursday, we will get back to just a second, ladies. I need to check something. So we actually were supposed to get some, indeed, oh my god, they are there. Just for some reason, they didn't show up first. So on Thursday, we will return to a design where you can also use check glass beads and preciosa crystals, all coming from the crystal volley. So this design that I actually made during the live design session a few weeks back, I have the tutorial now, and this is what we are going to work on Thursday during the next No One Has to Bead Alone bead-along class. And when we were with Andrea in the Crystal Valley, then one of the biggest pleasures there is to just dig through the shelves of the warehouses of the bead factories. Of course, most of the bead factories, they have online stores now, and you can order from abroad too. However, often, on one hand, you don't see the real beauty of the beads from the screen, and on the other hand, sometimes they don't have everything online what is available. And dear Corinne, I see your question, and I will return to like other questions at the end of the broadcast, but I would like to close this topic, and then I am still here to talk about anything that you would like to. So if you visit the New in the Bead Shop section, then you will see that we picked up lots of new things what caught our eyes. And in this case, you can see, for example, Moby Duos that actually I haven't played with yet, but they were so beautiful colors, and I think the shape is so nice and inspiring that they just had to travel home with us. Also, we have a few new colors of fire polished beads, and still it's worth it to check out the 4mm Preciosa Chaton Montes and what's left of them still in the bead shop. And some last bead shop news, because many of you were also asking about the art cabochon that was included in the newest Beadingschool Academy Theme Box, that if there will be a design dedicated to that. So not only a design, but next week, if you come back on Tuesday and spend the week with us, then actually the whole week will be dedicated to something very special. So keep an eye out of Beading School announcements and next week's coffee time with Erika. And now, if you have any questions, then I am very, very, very happy to answer all of that. And Corinne is asking, Erika, did you hear there is no Slovakian post to Israel again? And dear Corinne, I know about it. And I'm so sorry to hear this. It's always so frustrating when something like this happens, and I hope that it will be all right very soon. So today with Melinda, we agreed on what will be happening. She will contact everyone with some possible solutions, so you can discuss with her what should happen with your bead orders. We can either send them by FedEx for free if you reach a certain amount, or you can choose to purchase FedEx, because FedEx still is able to deliver packages to Israel. Or you can wait a bit until you collect some more and we are able, maybe the rules change again, or maybe you reach the designated sum and we are able to send your package with FedEx. So thank you for your patience, Corinne, and thank you for bringing this up. And Miriam says, you did monster bead shopping in the Czech Republic? Kind of, yes. Indeed. Linda is already solving it with Melinda, the Israel shipping. And Kimberly says, I am very intrigued by those Moby Duos, excited to try them. Interesting shape with lots of potential. Indeed. And indeed, super sad for Corinne and everyone affected. Like, we would love to do more, but that would And at the moment what we can do is to hold on to the packages, and hopefully it changes soon. And lovely ladies, thank you so much for watching today. If there are no more questions, then I will say goodbye. Actually, the treasury restock part, the Vexolos should be back again soon. And Anna is asking, are Preciosa crystals and Preciosa ornella closely linked when you visit? Like, those are two divisions. So we are in touch with the Preciosa crystal factory. At the moment, Preciosa ornella is not one of our like immediate partners. We work with many other Czech glass bead makers from the Crystal Valley, but from Preciosa we focus on the crystals, the sparklies. So if there are not more questions left, then I would like to thank you for your attention today. It's always so nice to spend time together. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your patience with the postal issues. And watch out for many, many tutorials this week. And thank you so much also for your precious bead orders that you trust us with. Thank you, ladies. Take care and happy beading.